Hey guys, welcome back to the Journey to Rank 1 Explained, episode number 3. Finally got ourselves a game on the North American server here. We have spawned on the Nightscape CE. Our teammate is Protoss. Our opponents are Terran Protoss. We can see that the opponents are relatively low rank. But like I've mentioned in previous videos, you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt, and you can't really approach the game as if it's, a low rank game due to the smurfing. So we have spawned a Terran. First thing I want to find out here is what the races are. Okay, so here we have a bit of a development, and this is the first time this will be showcased in the series here, where your opponent, his teammate leaves the game. This creates a very interesting aspect of the game that I think most people are aware of, but some people might not be aware of. When your teammate leaves at the very beginning of the game, instead of you starting with 12 workers, you have now started with 24 workers. So you could just imagine the type of influx of income that you're going to receive from this. So this completely changes the game. Obviously, it depends on the skill of your opponent, but this can be seriously difficult to deal with. And basically, when you're trying to rank up or whatever, anytime that you see this happen, you have to take the game very seriously, and there's a very specific way that you have to play against it. So let's get into it here. So the first thing I want to look for there is I want to check the race, right? I need to find out who left the game. Okay, so Sunkist left the game. And you can tell that by opening up that box and seeing the gray, at the top right, you tap that little people thing, and it shows, all the players in the game or whatever, what race they've picked, etc. So what we can see in this box here is that Sunkist has left the game, and that is the Protoss player. So right off the bat, what does that tell us? It tells us that the Terran player is more than likely going to have 24 workers right at the start of the game. Now, if it's a good player, and sometimes even if it's a bad player, you can fall victim to this if you don't know how to deal with it. The most common thing that you will see when this happens is the Terran player will throw down 5 Raxes and go super heavy Reapers off of 24 workers. So, he'll plant 5 Raxes down all at the same time at like timestamp 20 or something like that. And you can just imagine how difficult that might be to deal with. So the first thing I have to make sure here is, what is he likely to play? Well, just because his teammate left, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to play Terran. He might actually play the Protoss race. You don't know. But because the Protoss left, there's a very good chance that the Terran player who is still in the game is actually going to play the Terran race. And the reason for this is because if you try to play your teammate's race, you don't actually get the UI. So if you're an F2 hotkey user, or basically anything, any hotkeys, anything in the user interface is not available to you outside of setting up camera locations and hotkeys. So looking at this, and the reason I'm explaining this to you is because it's very important that you find out who left the game, because there's a very good chance that what you're going to have to deal with is Terran related in this game and not Protoss related in this game. So that's what I'm looking for here. And the very first thing you want to do is wall. And the reason that I want to wall here is because if he decides to play the Protoss race, well, one of the things you have to deal with is adepts, and you don't want the adept shades running into your base nonstop all the time. So In this situation, it's actually better for your teammate to wall with you, but we can see here in a little bit that the way that he's even building his base, he's blocking his gas. And so at this point, after I see that Sim City in the base, you know, I'm pretty scared, because it's like, well, if this guy is good, this is going to be incredibly difficult for me to deal with. Because generally speaking, in the first about minute and 25 seconds, just, you know, sort of how the opens go, you can always tell whether your teammate is skilled or not. And in this game, I've basically just assumed that my opponent, or my teammate is not skilled. Now, I open with a Reaper here because you need to confirm whether or not if your opponent is playing TRP. So you need to send this Reaper across the map and scout. It's mandatory. Like, even if he is playing Terran and he goes 5 Raxes, you still have to send this across the map, because you do have to know exactly what he's playing in order to respond correctly. Now, there's a global build that I use here that will basically cover everything, and it's just a simple 1-1-1 off of one base. It's nothing complicated. Just get a quick siege tank out, get a bunker, and typically speaking, this will keep you safe against basically everything. It can be complicated, but it can work, and it's the go-to build that I use in this scenario. So the first thing I check there is the gold. And then I go in here to find out what the haps is. So immediately I can see 3 depots. And basically what that tells me is that the amount of depots that he has here, go back and take a look, he's got 3 depots. Now, you don't need 3 depots based on how many SCVs that I can see here, right? And if you're SCV counting, which top players will do, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's only 10 there. There's 3 depots. Where are the other SCVs? So now I know it's proxy. And he's playing Terran. So I go into the main here and I see this, and I get a little confused because I don't really know why he's building a pylon and a zealot, but now I can see why. He wants to deter the Reaper as much as he can. So upon seeing the 3 supply depots, the decision to make the bunker is because of the 3 supply depots. I know that he's proxying. And the reason for the siege tank being damn near done as it is because no matter what he opens with, you need a siege tank to deal with anything Eco Cheese related. They're going to have a lot more stuff than you're going to have at any given time throughout the course of the game. So you do have to get the siege tank. Now I'm seeing even more depots, and I'm getting really scared here, because if he's going up to this many depots, then he must have a lot of Raxes, and there must be a lot of Marines, right? So what you'll see me do here, siege up the tank, and by looking at this scenario, I can already predict exactly what's going to happen, right? I can see this. He's gonna kill one of these depots, and he's gonna get in. So what I have to do is I have to get my siege tank sieged up and pull workers right now. And what this is going to do is that when he does finally break the depot, my SCVs are going to block the Marines from actually getting to the tank, which is ultimately going to allow me to hold this push. And there you go. But you can just kind of see the situation that you know comes about when you're playing team games sometimes. The Eco Cheese can be very, very difficult to deal with. You know, if this player, you know, did a proper build order with the Eco Cheese, there would be like 5 Reapers in the base even before the bunker finishes, even before the first 2 Marines finish. You can just kind of see how sending the Reaper across the map, I was able to predict everything that was going to happen. Of course, also being in this position a million times over, you just kind of know how the games go. But there has just been so many times where I have seen people, you know, just flat out lose to these things because they don't understand what the eco cheese is. When your opponent leaves the game at the start here, again, first thing, check the race. What's he likely going to play? Well, because Protoss is grayed out, he's likely going to play Terran. Having a siege tank and a bunker will basically deter everything that he's capable of doing in the early stages of the game. So, thank you for tuning in. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you at the next video. Have a good day, gentlemen.